Good evening and welcome to The Insight. What we want the insight on tonight is the state of security, what's happening, where are we, how did we find ourselves here, and what we can do about it. And to help us understand this is somebody I believe is one of the last words on matters security. Chris Otieno, karibu sana.
Thank you, Victor.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you to have me here.
Chris,
yes.
What's going on?
We have so much and a lot being reported in the field of security. Some of these are unbelievable, right? But it's first of all very important, Victor, to profile our nation as Kenya, to understand what Kenya really is.
Right.
For us to be able to place these crimes here or there and why our people are behaving that way, why some outsiders are behaving the same way. First of all, we must understand the kind of people we have in Kenya, right? We have people who are economically very active, people who want to go out there and make money, right? For very good reasons. But you find that they're being brought back by the prevailing economic situation, globally and countrywide, and also the financial status of the nation. Not everything is very good. The cost of living is very high.
Things are tough.
Things are tough. Yeah, and you look at headlines of headlines across the nation, you get to see that there's a lot of criminal activities that are coming up. Yeah, teachers complaining of being harassed,
hounded out
of offices and schools because of performance. And look at where does performance come from? It is a contingency of so much that comes into that.
So many stakeholders.
So many stakeholders, absolutely. That all of them must play the right path, right path for these results to get it right. At the same time, some other schools are posting very good results.
Absolutely.
Very good results. Right? The next thing that we must look at, Victor, is our environment as a nation. Right? We are a nation, right. We have both the ocean and we have countries around us that have instability. And that instability means a number of things to us. For example, the influx of drugs. Drugs, the influx of firearms, migration and things like that. Not everybody who's migrating into our country is good. Then that is made worse by the porosity of our borders and the corrupt officials that we have in those borders. That combination alone allows a lot of those firearms to get into a country. Now, look at that combination. Illegal firearms flowing into the country as they are flowing, harsh economic situations, and youth or any other members or a number of people in our country not having the right placements, and they must feed them.
So frustrated youth, a hungry and angry population, porous borders, bringing in drugs, arms,
trafficking human beings.
And conflict around us.
And conflicts around us.
Goodness.
And all that nexus of every of that, could probably make the situation bad. But nevertheless, Victor, we are saying we have some of our arms of government in terms of enforcement who are doing very well. At the same time, we have other areas which are not really working very well.
But they have their work cut out for them.
They have their work clearly cut out for them.
So that's where we are. That's kind of the kind of country that we're dealing with. So now, when you, from where you sit, when you look at what's been hitting the headlines of late and causing quite a lot of panic, we should say, we're hearing our ladies are not comfortable, they're not feeling safe. Right now, a date is not a date anymore. It could be a potential appointment with death. What's going on? Why are we seeing this trend of really gruesome, very graphic kind of killings? We had the doctor up in Eldoret. We have the young lady in South B and yet another young lady at TRM Drive. And I must say, these are just the ones that have been reported.
Absolutely.
What's going on? What kind of profile does this bring out?
That is the right word to use. This is just what has been reported. We don't know if any others have been reported or not reported. But look at this issue, Victor, right? Let's look at the demographics that dictate or are responsible or under drivers of these kinds of crime. We have a very youthful population who are very tech savvy. And what are we saying is being sold in the tech world? So much. And a lot of it involves violent offenses or violent criminal activity.
I see.
They watch that on movies.
Or are you referring to the media that we're consuming?
The media that we are consuming.
Movies,
from social
series.
Media. Exactly. What do? You will see our youthful population replicating that.
I see.
So what does that mean to us? It means that as parents, as a big players of our nation, we need to come with some very well-structured mentorship programs. And I'm happy to say that I'm a country director for Youth in Focus program that is coming very soon. We have a branch in Zambia and headquartered in Canada that is coming to Kenya very soon to mentor these youths. Youth in Focus, mentorship and other activities, right? So that we bring to the youth that this social media has positive aspects, and the same social media has negative aspects. So if we educate and bring that to you in a manner that you're able to decipher and understand and consume and interpret that in the right way, then, Victor, we are saying that we'll just be playing a part in bringing down this number of criminal offenses that we are seeing, because they are aware. The ladies know that a Facebook meetup or an e-meetup by a person doesn't necessarily tell you the actual person that you're going to meet, right? I could be very good on the e-meetup, but on the physical meetup, Victor, I'm something different.
Totally
I'm hidden.
Different.
I'm a black sheep hidden in a different way. So they need to be wary about that. They need to be conscious about that. Even our people who are running Airbnb businesses, they are business people wanting to have some turnovers from their investment. But then you find that in a way they're limited in one way or the other.
Now, I want us to address that in a moment. And you've actually raised two very critical points. What can people do, to kind of avoid a crisis before it comes? You've also talked about, the business angle to it, the Airbnbs and so on. And indeed, yesterday the government issued some directives to kind of guide this sort of thing, and just changes. And we'll discuss some of those changes in a moment. But something interesting happened, or rather is happening. And we must say, good people that are watching right now, these are just allegations. It's alleged that some of the suspects, or rather at least one of the suspects in these cases who are helping the police with investigations, might be foreign nationals from a particular West African country, Nigeria. These are just allegations, unproven, unfounded, unconfirmed. Please keep that in mind. Now, those allegations are enough for the Nigerian High Commission in Kenya to issue a security alert to all Nigerians living in Kenya to avoid unnecessary movements. In short, if you're a Nigerian or a West African in Kenya, you're in danger of reactions or retaliation, because people are angry about what's happening. What can you tell us about this sort of situation? Some people are concerned about possible xenophobia, like it's happening in South Africa.
Yes.
What can you tell us about this?
I want to tell you one thing about our fellow Kenyans. Kenyans are very permissive. We do not see a situation where Kenyans will attack the Nigerians like we were attacked in down sort of things like that.
Right.
But what we are saying, that this must be handled from a diplomatic perspective, and I believe that our national government has not just issued that alert pointing at that country for no apparent reason. Investigations have been done, and they are pointing us towards that direction. So what will the government of the other nation respond by doing? Is to tell the citizens, guys, be watchful. This could happen to you. You need to look at the details of that advisory for us to be able now to decipher and discuss the details of what is happening around.
Right.
And like you well said, the allegations for now. But then when the facts and the details of these investigations come out, then we can now react as is required of us to react. And
once we have the information.
Once we have the information.
Right.
And that will be in a way, the public, the way it will put in the public domain will be in a way, not in any way to flare any emotional feelings that we can now start acting on those guys and tell them, guys, no, you are creating a negative environment in our country, so we need to do this to you. No, to not be that way.
Right.
We brought in a way that we can be able to manage and let the law of the nation take its rightful course.
The rule of law must take it.
Yes.
So good people, I hope you're hearing this. I think it's important that we put it out there. Let's wait for the law to take its course. Let's wait for the police, who are very competent, to do the investigation. Exactly. And once the facts are there, let the law take its course. All right? Now, shift gears a little bit. Yesterday, the Ministry of the Interior issued a directive to all managers of private security companies, and I believe you're aware of this directive. And they said, and I'm quoting, it's aimed at addressing the emerging trends of insecurity with a view of deterring criminal activities in these premises. We're talking about the short stay hospitality industry. Places, the bed and breakfast type of situations, many of which are booked online and so on. Now, I'm looking at some of these recommendations. For example, they're saying you have to leave identification at the entrance, and you will not get back your ID until you come out. They're saying all CCTV must be kept updated. They're saying you must maintain something called an updated access control policy. There's so many recommendations here, and I believe you're aware of this. You're part of this association. Talk us through the reasoning behind these recommendations and the expected impact?
Right. Victor, if you look at the modus operandi currently, before our government issued those directives, it was that I would call the owner of a B&B, an Airbnb, tell me, hey, I need accommodation, I need to hire. We agree on a price. No security deposit
No question
whatsoever.
Yes.
Right? I give you a password or a passcode. You go into a passcode, you get the key, you open, off you, and you
no
pay me and off you
physical interaction.
No physical interaction. That basically means I am giving out my product to somebody I've not met, and I'll not meet. Not at all. So what has been what have we done as a security fraternity? What has been done is first of all look at these cases and study them carefully and look at where are these gaps? Where are these gaps that we are seeing? And the one that has been identified is identification verification. We must be able to identify who you are. And as soon as you know that I am very well known, my identity here is very well known, that is number one deterrence. That will stop because I'll know definitely if I do anything wrong here, right, definitely I'll be found because my ID is already there. But then we want to go to a notch higher. This ID must be a physical identification of you. For example, your national ID, you leave it there, right? We are in possession of it. And then we train our guys to go further. Victor, you can give me any ID, and I say this is your ID, and I put it up in where I'm required to put it up. But I must verify that actually this is Victor, and this is Chris, and this is the next.
Valid.
It is valid. All right? Then once we do that, there's a retention of that ID. Data protection are prohibited us from handling that, but now we've been permitted by a regulator. Right? So our guards will go right ahead. Security implemented, the enforcement will go ahead and retain that. And that keeps you a notch, knowing that I am known, and that deters from that criminal offense. Then we go to access control. What would be access control here? There could be facial recognition. There could be fingerprint. There could be any biometrics that we can take from you, which is a critical identifier of you. Biometrics, basically only you, Victor. Nobody else has those kind of identification. Right? That means in the event you commit an offense, and we open this for a police investigation, it will be very easy to get you. Not going around the bush looking for anybody. But this one would point to exactly, this is Chris, this is Victor. Right? And when we sell that out to the public and to that kind of a business, and even to the consumers of that business, then it means that our level of deterrence of criminal activities has been taken a notch higher.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, there's both a prevention angle to this. Actually, there's a very prominent prevention angle. I mean, if you know that there's going to be this much of my information out there, then it would prevent you, or at least discourage you from committing, But now somebody would ask.
Yes.
In one of the pieces done by one of our reporters, William Mwenge, earlier, one of the operators was saying, some people go for Airbnbs because of one of the major things that those things provide, which is anonymity and privacy.
Yes.
Now, some people would say, okay, why are we suffering because of the mistakes of a few other people? Some people would say their rights and to privacy are being infringed upon. What would you say to such people?
One of the legal frameworks that have been set by security, one of the items in there is privacy. All right?
Yeah.
Even if we are going to install CCTV cameras in the premises, there are some areas of those premises that require privacy.
Yeah.
We will not install them in your bedrooms or where you shower or something like that. That will be not
That's
kind
unacceptable.
That's unacceptable, right? But at the entrance, we say, we want to take biometrics of you, not activities that you're going to do in there,
yes,
right?
Yes.
So what we need to manage right now for this to be accepted in the public domain is to manage that change from what we are doing in the new area that we are moving to. And if we manage that well, the uptake will be very good.
Okay. Now, we've got our security agencies on high alert. Everyone knows what to do. There's information coming from the government, no less, telling people such as yourselves, people in the security sector, giving you freedoms and giving you guidelines on how to protect people.
Yes.
But one of the times we've talked on this very platform, you've said security begins with you.
Absolutely.
What can we do as Kenyans?
Victor, there is so much that we can do as Kenyans. First of all, let's break it down from the national level.
Okay.
Right? Our government must create the required awareness amongst the general populace on what my personal security will entail and how I, as an individual, plug into police activities and operations and plug in all the arms of government in terms of securing, in terms of assuring my safety and my security. The next thing will be myself, me as an individual. I should be able to know and identify the risk factors that are involved with my activities. If, for example, I need the service of an Airbnb, and I take it into an area where crime levels are high, then basically that means I'm exposing myself. And when I go for consumption of Airbnb, and I look at the security features there, and I'm guaranteed, I'm sure from what I know, because the awareness created in me that this one will sufficiently meet my security requirements, then I consume that is right. So it is individual knowledge from awareness and individual ability to make a responsible choice on what I want to consume as a beneficiary of that business.
I see.
Yes.
And from a very, very personal level, a lot of people would be wondering to themselves, goodness, I mean, there's a lot of fear out there. That person who's walking right next to me could be a bad person, could be out to kill me, steal from me and all that. What kind of tips can you provide? What suggestions? Let us build a toolkit for our audience. What can somebody do as an individual? What can I do as Victor? If I am leaving the office right now, it's late, it's going to be almost 10 p.m. What can I do to secure myself? What are some of the things to do, from a security perspective?
Victor, number one thing that you must do, you must smarten yourself to be able to identify red flags.
Right.
Take, for example, Victor. It is very hot. But you look at Chris and the way he's dressed. He's overdressed or out of dressing for that particular weather.
He has clothing, too many clothes, too heavy.
Yes, that will tell you something, Victor.
Okay.
So these red flags, we must be able to pick them out, right? Okay. I am walking in a street. I meet two guys. They are oncoming. Then after I pass them, now they are following me. And the pace at which they are following me is a pace that is suspicious. What am I supposed to do, Victor? I take the right action to protect and defend myself against possible attack from those particular kind of persons. I am using my phone, and I'm in the streets of Nairobi. And where I'm taking my phone, I know that the crime levels in that particular area are high. So why should I go ahead and take my call in that particular kind of an area? I'm exposing myself. So we should look at ourselves individually from risk exposures. What is the risk here? What is the hazard here? And how do I mitigate that hazard from manifesting or crystallizing itself in my own environment? Right. If I am able to do that, Victor, then I will be right. I go to cybersecurity. I look at a mail, it says from Victor Muyakane dot, and then when I look at this email address, it's something that this is not Victor's email address. Right. As soon as I have suspicion on red flags, then it becomes my responsibility to work on that before I take any action, right? Your bank tells you get a text or a chat on your WhatsApp telling you, we are maintaining our banking, our e-services. Could you please send us your PIN code? Right. No bank will ask for you that. Actually, when they give us that, they tell you, do not share with anyone, to include the government, to include the bank personnel itself.
That's right.
So when that happens, Victor, these red flags, all our branches must be equipped with the ability to be able to pick them up. And once they pick them up, we are urging them to take action against what they pick up. Right. That ensures your safety, not just in that one environment, but in many environments.
Now, talk to our ladies.
Yes.
It appears right now there's a lot of focus on our ladies. In fact, some people are calling the homicides that we're having, labeling them as femicides, specifically targeted towards women. How can our women be safe out there? For example, the young ladies, you want to go on a date, you want to meet your significant other, your life partner. How does one go on a date in a safe way? How does one go about their business in a safe way? Talk to the ladies.
First of all, Victor, is for us to know that ladies are the flowers of the world.
Wow.
Flowers of the world.
Isn't that the truth?
And they will definitely get admirers. But now the thing that is most critical to any lady is for you to be able to see your admirer as a credible admirer or as somebody that I don't know. Do not go on a blind date, particularly these e-meetup set up dates. And those are dates that could possibly expose you to what we are seeing right now. Then, when you go for a date, right, I urge our ladies, dressing, make sure you choose your dressing right. Make sure the environment you're being taken is an environment that you are aware of. Make sure even the person who is taking you in that Uber or in that means of transport is a reliable person. If you are requesting for Uber services, request it from a legit app so that you get there. And the person you are meeting, I urge them, don't be lured by foreigners. Not all of them are good people. There are better men in our country, fellow Kenyans, who can do a better job taking you out.
Right.
And these other guys. Right. So let our ladies, when they're looking out for dates, let them be very level-minded. We love the kind of dressing that they want to put on. But that should also be looked at, who am I going out with? If, for example, I'm going out with my wife, and she wants to dress the way she wants to dress, number one, she's assured that I am with my husband. Right. That is my first line of defense, my first line of security. But if I'm going with a total stranger, a complete stranger, and I dress in a way that, men, we are action-oriented, right? When we look at anything, we want to translate that into action.
Right.
So what sort of action do I want to translate from your dress?
I see.
So let's look at those kind of things, our dear fellow lady in Kenya.
Absolutely. And Chris, clearly this is a big conversation. And at the beginning, we said the questions are many and they're simple, but the answers are few and heavy. Now, we do not claim to have the monotony of answers for this entire conversation.
Absolutely.
But we hopefully we've given you something that you can take away with you. I want to give you a last chance as we wind up. Up next is the VAR show. Before we go there, this is your camera from your heart.
Right.
From your heart. As a man, as a father, as a security agent, as a leader in this country, speak to the nation.
I want to say a lot of things, but allow me to really put that in one nutshell, right? If we profile our country from the people, from the environment, from the drugs, from the trade, from financial, from cyber, there is so much that is going on around here. So my advice to everybody, in whatever we do, how you do it, be very careful. Make sure whatever you get yourself involved with is something that you can verify, verifiable. Don't be lured by niceties. Those niceties at times turn out to be something totally different. Something can harm you and leave a life scar in your life. And remember, that will not be forgotten. For parents like myself, let us mentor our children. Let us offer ourselves to mentor them, share our own life experiences, and share the other experience that we have read through. Educate our boys. Speak to them about their sexuality. Same to our girls. Speak to them about their sexuality. Speak to them about the technology that is right now and what is happening globally and around the world, to make sure that they appreciate the positive bit of it and are careful about the negative of it, because all that can turn out to be very negative influences or influence, and the end game for it is a scar that could harm you and harm you forever. So we are playing big parts. Like I said, I'm the country director for Youth in Focus Kenya, and we are doing a lot to sensitize and mentor our youths for their own personal development and growth, particularly in the entrepreneurial field.
Right.
Yes.
And hopefully people can join the movement and be able to secure our future,
absolutely,
future generations.
Absolutely.
People, this has been The Insight tonight, and I certainly hope that you've caught some insight from our discussion with Chris. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Victor. Thank you for having me. I'm really glad.
I believe it's not too late to say Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Victor. I've not met you the whole New Year.
I know.
Happy New Year, brother.
Now, for the people that have lost loved ones in these attacks, our thoughts, our prayers are with you, and may their souls rest in eternal peace. But here's a prayer for you. We really pray that what we say Happy New Year, that 2024 will be a happy,